Welcome back, beautiful humans, to day two. Look at all of you showing up again. I love it. I want to check in. How did day one go? How did everybody feel? Take a minute to just check in with yourself. Did you notice anything shift? Did you notice even some small little bits of regulation? Your nervous system is already starting to remember what regulation feels like. Can you feel it? I received a lot of great comments last night. We talked a lot about it in today's live, and um, a lot of emotions, a lot of overwhelming emotions, lots of tears came up for a lot of people, which is totally normal. And this is your body's way of actually processing emotions. So even if things that are percolating up seem completely unrelated to what is happening in the moment, these are stored memories in your cellular body that have been waiting and screaming for your body to feel safe enough for them to come up to the surface and be washed through so that they can be processed and then let go of. And it's not getting rid of in the sense of, I'm going to forget that and I don't need that anymore. The memory will always be there, but the emotional charge that is attached to it will be gone. And that's the baggage that we carry around throughout our life and our days. That's when people say that person's got a lot of baggage, that is really referring to this emotional trauma that we carry along with us that presents itself in how we interact day to day with the people in our lives. So the sooner that we can ground ourselves into safety and allow our emotions to come up and wash through us like water, like fog, like smoke that we just let wash through and let go of, the better we can operate in this world. So I just want to talk a little bit more about why breath work is so important and how it's not only the bridge between your mind and your body, but it's the bridge between your conscious and unconscious. So it's the place where you actually have power to shift what's happening beneath the surface. Most of us spend our lives trying to control our thoughts and manage our emotions. We push through anxiety without ever addressing what's actually driving all of it. So it's a nervous system that's been stuck in overdrive for years, and your body has been keeping the score of every unprocessed emotion, every boundary you didn't set, every time you said, I'm fine, when you weren't. And your body is holding on to all of this tension, this dysregulation, this chronic stress, this dis-ease. Breath work is how you release it, not by thinking about it or talking about it, but by giving your body permission to let it go through the simple act of breathing. It's profound in its simplicity. Inhale safety, exhale what no longer serves you. And when you do this consistently, you start to remember what it feels like to be grounded, present, and at peace in your own skin. That's when transformation becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Now, when I first started my 21-day breathwork journey, which is we're doing 5 days of that 21-day journey in this little 5 day practice, not in the same order, but I honestly didn't think it was working. I showed up every day, I did the practice, I went through my life, and so I got to the end of the 21 days, 3 weeks, and I was like, oh, well, I mean, that was nice. I'm glad I showed up for myself, but I was expecting like something bigger, and I don't know. I was just like, mm. And then probably a week after that, so then a month in, really started recognizing little shifts in how I responded to people, how I responded in my work, how I responded to my children, how I responded to my husband, my mom. Things that were noticeable enough for me to take pause and be like, oh, Well, that was a very calm, grown up, regulated response. And I also noticed that I wouldn't get as triggered. Or more importantly, when I was triggered, I could pivot more quickly and be like, oh, I see. I'm noticing something in my body. I'm going to sit with it and I'm going to breathe through it. And then my brain would turn back on and I would be able to actually be present to the moment and come up with a better solution. So, like so many things in life, the progress is subtle. It can be huge. You can absolutely experience huge shifts, huge releases. But like a lot of things in life, like exercise and eating right, it's not usually like, oh, today I'm going to eat perfectly healthy and I'm going to, you know, do a really, really hard workout, and then I'm going to look in the mirror and I'm going to have changed my body in this one moment and look completely different because I'm eating right. So we all know that that's not how our physiology works. It's a consistent, progressive change, and breathwork is the same way. And like I said, you can have bursts of epiphanies where things really monumentally shift in a breathwork session, but it is a gradual progression of a regulation of your nervous system over a period of time that really allows your body to feel safe. And that's where the big changes come. So today we're learning belly breathing. And this one's magic. This is the practice that also literally turns off your stress response and it activates your parasympathetic nervous system, as we spoke about yesterday, your rest and digest, the body's calm down, everything is okay button. So you know that feeling when you finally exhale after holding on so much tension at the end of your day, when your shoulders drop down and you notice that you've been clenching your jaw and it finally releases. That's what we're creating on purpose today. So, this is the breath work for coming home to your body, for remembering that you are safe, for grounding down when everything feels like too much. So here's my invitation for you again today is to place one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart and really feel and own your presence. Feel your body, physically feel your body, feel your own power, feel the seat beneath you, feel the floor beneath your feet. And you're about to give yourself a really nice gift of deep embodied calm. So, as I said, we'll be using belly breathing to calm down. When you're in a state of calm, it's easier to not only hear but to also follow. So the gentle whispers of your soul, of what your intuition is really speaking. So before we begin this practice, let's explore a little fascinating study on the impact of distraction. The human psyche is such a fascinating thing. So there was a 2014 study done in Science magazine where participants were asked to sit in a room and think for 15 minutes. They also placed an electric shock machine in the room with them. And before entering the room, participants said they would pay to avoid being shocked. Once in the room, 62% of men shocked themselves, and 25% of women shocked themselves, some repeatedly, because they were bored, because doing something was better than being with themselves. So if you aren't willing to be with what's inside of yourself, you'll create something so that you can meet it outside of yourself. I should know. I've done plenty of this. I've done this through heartbending relationships, some burnout in business, general weird situations, feeling the absolute need to reorganize my junk drawer, which totally didn't need to be reorganized, or reorganizing my closet, finding distractions to avoid sitting with myself and my feelings. I did this for a lot of my life. And it wasn't until I realized that I was manifesting my own inner tyrant outside of me so that I could experience how I really treated myself. All because I was really afraid to meet the bully inside me, the broken heart, or the exhaustion, the sheer exhaustion within. When it comes to unlocking the power of breath work, it's important to understand that power is the ability to calm down your nervous system in order to be with what's going on internally for yourself. So you can then discern the most powerful step forward. Often we're too afraid to calm down, to truly stop, because then we have to be with the little me inside that is quietly screaming at you for attention. So instead of thinking and responding, we react. We become very reactive. We go into patterns or behaviors that we don't want. Rather than doing what you do want, you start doing what you think you should do. That's not power. When you're calm, you have the power to discern when you truly want something versus when you feel like you have to do something, or worse, you should be doing something, that guilt and shame. Power isn't about pushing harder. Surprise, surprise. It's about calming your nervous system enough to truly listen. When we are dysregulated, life often feels like there's only two options, A or B, between a rock and a hard place. Breath work creates space for a third option, a sacred win-win solution that serves both people better. Typically, A and B is a win-lose or a lose-win. And breathing, regulating your nervous system, will create space, expand time for you to be able to listen and call in from the universe that sacred third, that third option that is a win-win. And that's ultimately what allows everybody to win. When you're calm, you can say no to looking after your friend's cat because you have important work to do. Or you can say yes because you really actually want to, not because you feel guilty. If you're like me, maybe your work is your loveliest virtue and your greatest vice. Maybe creating more opportunities to serve is your vice. If that's so, remember that. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And what that means is the more grounded you are and present you are, the more effortless your choices become. Decisions actioned from calm, centered place often save you from the debt of paying for a rushed, frantic decision later. I know we can all relate to that. There's freedom on the other side of fear, of letting go, and deepening into the anxiety of truly stopping, truly slowing down, truly becoming present. But remember that freedom only exists because of control. So don't hate your desire to control or keep going either. Just notice where your behaviors, strategies, personalities, identities are slipping into controlling you. And remember that you're the master. You're the one with all the power. So you get to dictate where it goes. Are you ready to let go? The amazing thing about this breath work is you can literally do it anywhere. You can also change up the length of the exhalation depending on what's comfortable for you. I often do this technique while I'm facilitating my clients and mirroring back a deeper truth, while I'm standing in line for my latte and want to relax, or when I'm listening to one of my many, many Audible books and I want to absorb the information just a little bit greater and really store it into my long-term memory. So true power doesn't always look like guns blazing. Sometimes it looks like the things you don't say, the things you don't do, the things you don't act upon. Sometimes it looks quiet. Sometimes it sounds like you penetrating the noise with your discernment. So I'm just going to give you a quick demo of the belly breathing, which I didn't do yesterday and I think is really important to make a distinction on. So when we belly breathe, I want you to inhale and inflate your belly up. Inhale, and then as you exhale, draw your belly back to your spine. Inhale, belly out, exhale, belly back. So I know that that seems completely self-evident, but what I have experienced with practicing breath work with a lot of people is that because we have become trained over time through cultural norms to always want a flat belly, that we shift from belly breathing, which is our natural state, to chest breathing, which is very inefficient and bypasses our vagus nerve. So, my invitation to you is to always place a hand on your belly, at least in the beginning, until you reestablish the connection between inhaling and inflating your belly. You can then let the breath roll up into your chest and fill your chest, but only after you've really inflated your belly. And then as you exhale, dropping everything down and deflating your belly back to your spine. The reason why this is so important is your vagus nerve runs along your side of your diaphragm. So as you inhale and press your belly out, as you draw in air, it presses against the vagus nerve and stimulates it. And then as you exhale, it pulls away. And then you stimulate it. And by doing this, that's what sends the signal to your brain to switch into parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest. So in the beginning, use that as a guide to inhale, inflate, exhale, deflate. I know it seems so obvious, but our bodies often are doing counterintuitive things. Some people are counter breathers, where they're actually inhaling and they're drawing their belly in to inhale, filling up their chest, and then as they exhale, they let go. So we want to do the opposite. We want to inhale and inflate, press the belly out, and then exhale, drop everything down and back towards the spine. So, as I mentioned before, breath work can surface a lot of stored emotions. Now, when emotions arise, don't analyze them. Don't judge them. Allow them to move through your body. Just let processing these feelings releases tension that's held in your cells and allows for clarity, grounding, and a lighter nervous system. So we're not here to judge. We're just here to notice and let them wash over you and process through. So before we begin our breath work right now, go ahead and take out your log and write in it how you're feeling at this moment. And go ahead and pause if you need to. If you need to take a couple more minutes to jot down how you're feeling right in this moment while I switch over so that you guys don't get any feedback. Fabulous. And let us begin. Let us drop in together. In today's practice, you'll learn to calm the breath and calm the mind. We do this by harnessing the vagus nerve. The vagus nerves are the main nerves of the parasympathetic nervous system. They control functions like digestion, heart rate, and the immune system, functions that are involuntary, unconscious. The breath is a pathway to gaining conscious awareness and influence over this system. Are you ready to make the unconscious conscious? So if you haven't done so already, come into a comfortable seat and gently close your eyes. Sit up with a nice tall spine, and together we'll breathe in through the nose for 2 and out through the nose for 4 with no holds. just in through the nose and out through the nose. As you breathe in, expand your belly like a balloon, inflating it. And as you breathe out, allow your navel to come back toward your spine. With each breath, let your shoulders drop down and away from your ears. Soften along your entire body from head to toe. Come into your intention now. Ask yourself, how would I love to feel after this experience? And when you're ready, let's begin. In, 2, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, out, 2, 3, 4. In, out. In, out. Continue this rhythm at your own pace, letting your body respond naturally. Stay with your breath. And if your mind has wandered, perfect. Gently bring your attention back to the sensation of your breath. Remember, any calm you feel comes as a byproduct of being fully present with your breath. This is your training ground, a safe space to strengthen the muscle of pure presence and calm. So when you step outside, you carry this calm with you into your day. Belly rises and opens, belly falls, jaw loosens, shoulders drop down and away from your ears. And the objective of breath work is not to remove or be rid of. Instead, it's to be with. To feel is to end thinking. Stay with your breath. And on your next inhale, take a deep breath in through your nose into the center of the earth, to the furthest point in the sky, and hold at the top. Suck in a little bit more air. Keep holding. And with a sound, an exhale, allow your breath to return to its natural, normal pace. And now notice the quality of your consciousness compared to when you started. And when you go about your day today, remember this breath pattern, this practice of calming the breath, slowing the heart rate, and returning to a state of rest internally. Know that you can access it at any moment of the day in just one breath. We can change our physiology and come back to balance. You may find that doubling your exhalation, a count of inhaling for 3 and out for 6, or in for 8 and out, in for 4 and out for 8, works better. Whatever works for you works. So trust that. Know that all sessions of breathwork and meditation are just a training ground for how present you can be with the ecstasy of life. And as you go about your day, I wonder, could you see your mind no longer as the enemy, but as your best friend? For without the contrast of thought, how could you feel? How could you experience who you truly are? And so, no matter what you think today, could you thank every thought and let all the resistance fall away? And when you're ready, come back to your body, flutter open your eyes. Fantastic work, everyone. Take a moment right now and just notice, how does your body feel? How does your mind feel? What's shifted? This is your power. This is regulation. And you did this yourself with your breath in just 10, 12, 15 minutes. So I invite you to lean into this technique as well. Your second tool. Use it during the day, whenever you feel like you need to come back to your body. This is what's possible. Go ahead and log your experience, just 1 to 2 sentences about how you feel now. Because breathwork creates the space for the sacred third, the win-win solution. In any moment, you can tap into your breath to return to your divine nature, to the harmony that always exists within. Feel free to respond to the email. I love reading everybody's comments and experiences. And I will see all of you tomorrow for day 3. So until then, beautiful soul, breathe deep. You've got this.